Started here. It's now live. Awesome. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started here. Thank you for everyone that is joining us today for this Catholic Boarding School Association virtual student forum. Before we get started, we're going to go ahead and say a quick prayer. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Lord, we thank you for this opportunity to gather here today and discuss the many great things about Catholic boarding schools. We ask that you continue to guide us as we navigate COVID-19 and how we navigate the process of recruiting for Catholic boarding schools throughout this challenging time. For this we pray in your name. Amen. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. Thank you, like I said, everyone, for gathering here today. My name is Tom Alzewski, and I'm one of the 5 executive members of the Catholic Boarding School. And as the Catholic Boarding School Association, we are actually comprised of 15 member schools scattered throughout the United States. You can take a look at this map here to see for those 10 schools that are actually on this call, you can see where we are located with our logos. So you can see that we are scattered from coast to coast. So you're going to get the best of all pieces of the United States here in terms of learning the many great things about each of our schools. The purpose of our gathering here today is to just discuss what is the impact of a Catholic boarding school education, and how does that development better our students for future, specifically by the time they go on into college. So throughout the next 45 minutes to an hour, you're going to be hearing from each member school. They're going to be giving a quick pitch about their school and what makes their school unique. But in addition to that, every school is also going to be talking about the benefits of Catholic boarding schools, whether it be college readiness, student life, things that go on during the weekends. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and transition this over to Tracy over at Flint Ridge Sacred Heart, and we're going to get started.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Tom. My name is Tracy Howe, and I have the pleasure of serving as a Director of Admissions at Flint Ridge Sacred Heart Academy. We are located in the city of La Cañada, Flint Ridge. We are in Southern California. The school is located about 23 kilometers from Los Angeles, so our students can easily enjoy access to city destinations, beaches, mountains, and the desert very, very easily. As an all-girls school, our students are at the center stage of an educational environment that really makes it safe for them to learn, explore, and grow. Today, society is filled with messages about what girls can't and can't do. Our students are empowered to find their voice, embrace their passions, align their goals with their true selves, and really pursue them with determination. There are also daunting pressures those days. Academic stress and social media can be really overwhelming for high school students. And at Flint Ridge Sacred Heart, our students are provided with emotional support and compassion to balance high academic expectations. We don't want our students to fit in any mold, but really we want them to live out their own truth and become strong, independent women. Our students also learn to welcome differences. We foster a healthy and respectful exchange of ideas that will instill in each student the confidence to be her authentic self, to ask questions, and to express ideas without fear. The value of a Flint Ridge Sacred Heart education really goes beyond the buildings on campus. Our mission of educating young women for a life of faith, integrity, and truth lives within the hearts of our talented and dedicated teachers. Regardless of any circumstances, especially in this challenging year, we continue to provide an exceptional learning experience. We want to empower every girl to find her voice and to make positive changes in our world. So if you want to learn more about Flint Ridge Sacred Heart, please don't hesitate to reach out. I am going to go ahead and pass it on to Jeremy.
Jeremy, you're on mute. Try that again. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Jeremy Clark, and I'm the Director of Admissions at St. Stanislaus High School. St. Stanislaus is a Catholic, all-boys day and boarding school for young men in grades 7 through 12. We are located in Bay St. Louis, Mississippi, on the beautiful Mississippi Gulf Coast. We're about a short 45-minute drive from New Orleans, Louisiana, and we're about an hour west of Mobile, Alabama. The mission of St. Stanislaus is to form each of our students to gospel values by nurturing his spiritual, academic, physical growth in a place of sanctuary structured to embody the charism of the Brothers of the Sacred Heart. As an integral part of our mission, we maintain a boarding program. Our boarding program offers students the opportunity for educational success and personal growth within a disciplined and structured environment. We work with each young man to reach his full potential. We have a focus on religious values, discipline, personal attention, quality athletics, and extracurricular opportunities, and of course, academic excellence. As a result of our emphasis on holistic education, it is our expectation that our students graduate as well-rounded young men who recognize the need to continue their own spiritual, emotional, social, intellectual, and physical growth. We want students who have developed self-discipline that guides their actions, who nurture positive relationships and build community, who are intellectually curious, are prepared to meet the academic demands of college, and who most importantly leave us with a strong belief that God loves them. I invite you to explore our website or give us a call to find out about all that we have to offer here at St. Stanislaus. At this point, Tracy and I would like to share with you some of the many ways a boarding school experience can help prepare your students for college life. High school boarding schools have much to offer students, from their strong academics to their diverse social life. The boarding school setting presents numerous opportunities for students to study and grow up in an environment designed to prepare them for college life. In both academic and non-academic aspects, boarding schools prepare students for the challenges, obstacles, and demands of life after high school. College courses can be incredibly challenging, and many students are not properly prepared for this. However, high school boarding schools are known for having high standards and extraordinary academic expectations, and their students are better prepared for a high caliber college curriculum. In a recent survey from the Association of Boarding Schools, 87% of high school boarding students reported that they were well prepared for college academically, compared to only 71% of private day school students and 31% of public high school students. Beyond the academics, students must also be prepared to face the social, emotional, and psychological challenges that await them in college. They must learn how to think and act independently of their parents. They must learn time management, personal accountability, all things that former boarding school students have been doing for years before they get to college. In the same survey by the Association of Boarding Schools, 78% of high school boarding students said that they were very well prepared for the non-academic aspects of college life, compared to only 36% of private day school students and 23% of their public counterparts. And to once again highlight the separation between the college readiness of former high school boarding students, the same survey indicated that 50% of them attained advanced degrees, compared to only 36% of private day students and 21% of public school students. Tracy will now present some additional information on the advantages that boarding school can provide students as they prepare for college.
Thank you. As you just heard, a lot of the data, and as you can see, shows that boarding school environment provides students with the tools to be successful. Boarding schools help develop the talents, interests of students, and really help them realize individual educational goals in high school, but also preparing them for college and beyond. 70% of boarding school students have said that boarding school has helped them develop self-discipline, maturity, independence, and the ability to think critically. And that's really because students are in an environment that gives them that chance, that opportunity to learn how to become self-disciplined, self-sufficient individuals. In the environment of a boarding school, students are learning the importance of being responsible for their own actions and gain essential living skills. They learn how to manage their time, budget, choose what activities they partake in, and really a lot more. One thing that we often hear is that students at boarding schools don't have any fun. They're only there to be disciplined, but the reality is that boarding schools gives students really ample opportunities to explore their interests, but with less distractions. This dynamic environment allows students to really discover what their talents, strengths, and skills are. Many boarding schools also have a residential life curriculum that is designed to nurture the lives of their students. There is a focus on community, education, awareness, as well as leadership. And you'll be hearing a lot more about that in a few minutes as well. So with that, I am going to go ahead and pass it on back to Tom.
Thank you, Tracy. So as mentioned before, my name is Tom Malzewski, and I'm the Director of Admissions over at Mount Michael Benedictine School. Mount Michael is an all-boys boarding school located in Elkhorn, Nebraska, which is the city directly west of Omaha, Nebraska, smack dab in the middle of the United States. As a product of Mount Michael, I actually graduated from Mount Michael in 2013, and I can tell you that some of the largest growth that I had as a person came during my 4 years while as a boarding student at Mount Michael. And the mission of Mount Michael right now is, while we are a Catholic boarding school, we're rooted in Benedictine values, and the overall purpose of the Mount Michael experience is to develop our students, and specifically intellectually, socially, as well as spiritually, so that by the time they move on into college, they will become future leaders. And as a person that went through that experience, I can honestly say that I am the person who I am today because of my 4 years in being exposed to that. One of the best things about a boarding school is that you develop yourself as an individual person, but you're doing that within a community of a group of young individuals, for the same purpose. And so with having that community feel, it makes that process so much easier and so much better. Now, specifically at Mount Michael, we have 240 total students, with the vast majority of them actually making up that residential component. We have 155 boarding students, which is predominantly local students within the Omaha area. But this semester, we'll also have 18 7-day boarding students, which come from around the world as well as from the United States. Including students from California, Texas, Seattle, Washington, and beyond. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to my partner over at Tobiaco.
Thank you so much, Tom. I'm Marian Dunnigan with Tobiaco Academy, and we're very happy to be here talking about Catholic education today. Tobiaco is Mount Michael, a Benedictine school. We are, unlike many schools, located in a working monastery. You can see there in the background what we look like. We are located in Arkansas, and we are about an hour and a half from Fayetteville, Arkansas. We're 2 hours from Little Rock and about 3 hours from Tulsa, Oklahoma. So right in the center of Arkansas. As a working monastery, we are, of course, very Catholic and have about 35 monks who work with our academy off and on in teaching and other activities. We have, as Benedictines, a 1,500-year tradition of educating, and Tobiaco Academy has been educating young men since 1887. So at 135 years of traditional Benedictine education, we feel like we do it pretty well. Our Benedictine values are faith, scholarship, character, and brotherhood. These are what we base everything we do on at Tobiaco Academy. Benedictines are also known for stability. And stability is a critical factor for Tobiaco Academy in our choice to remain open to in-person education throughout the COVID situation. And we are currently open with in-person classes and have been very fortunate to not see a lot of problem with that. So we enroll about 150 students from 15 states, 9 different countries. We have students from Asia, from Central America, from the Middle East, and from Europe. So that's about 9 different countries. We are very pleased that we have been able to maintain 100% college acceptance rate for a number of years. We have a low student-teacher ratio. Average class size is always very small. And we have good luck with the successes that our students are able to bring to the table when they go on to college. I would point out that we're also very proud of the fact that we almost always have a student who goes to an academy, a military academy. Last year, two students from Arkansas were both Tobiaco Academy graduates at West Point. So we're very pleased with that. And we truly feel that we can get you where you want to go if you come to Tobiaco. One thing that we don't have a lot of urban areas in Arkansas to take the boys to, but we do have outdoors. We've hired specialists in outdoor recreation to work with our students in outdoor learning. And every day after school and on the weekends, the boys are doing outdoor learning activities that really help them grow. I think in this day and age of digital learning and a lot of at-home learning, that it's really important to get boys out and doing things, and we have made a commitment to do that at Tobiaco. So I would invite you to visit our website, take a look at what we have to offer, and always, always you're welcome to visit us at Tobiaco. Now I'll turn it over to my counterpart, Helene, at Academy of the Sacred Heart.
Yes, good morning. Shetland Pauline. I'm actually taking you to South Louisiana, to Grand Coteau. The name might ring a bell, Sacred Heart, because we're part of a bigger network of Sacred Heart schools. You can think of 91st Street in New York, Country Day in Boston, or Carrollton in Miami. There are about 24 schools in North America, and we happen to be the oldest. Since next year, we will be celebrating our 200th year anniversary. So it's been about 200 years of serving young women with providing a Sacred Heart education defined by our foundress, Madeleine Sophie Barra, which seeks to glorify the heart of Jesus, provide a well-rounded education, young women of faith who are inspired to renew and transform society. We are known for our traditions, lots of traditions, but that does not prevent us from being forward-looking. Our curriculum is very innovative. We're not the typical classroom, similarly to other schools that were described before us. Our student-to-teacher ratio is very small. Our curriculum presents all kinds of practices such as Socratic questioning, project-based learning, you name it. We are sitting on a very broad campus, about 255 acres. Granted, we're not in an urban setting, but we're about 3 hours from Houston and 2 hours from New Orleans. And we have a local regional airport that is connected to 5 international airports. So it's easy. We really are a short hop to major US cities with the benefits of having a very peaceful life. As I mentioned, with Tobiaco, there's lots of outdoor opportunities for recreation. Something very unique. Obviously, we offer all outdoor sports that you can think of, but our campus not only hosts young women, faculty, and boarders, but we also have about 30 horses. Since we have an equestrian center, we welcome all levels from beginner to more advanced, and we teach you the basics of English to Western equestrian, and we take to local shows all the way up to nationals. Some of our girls actually competed on the East Coast and in Florida. Our boarding school hosts young women from grade 8. We've had up to 8 nationalities represented. A long legacy of young women coming from different generations, from mother to daughter, from Latin America mostly, but also from Asia. And they've all commented, about the fact that you don't ever know a dreary winter in South Louisiana. We have more than 300 days of sunshine. This is a community who likes to get together, who likes outdoor festivals, outdoor recreation, loves to eat. So yeah, please visit our website or come see us in South Louisiana. I believe now we're going to develop more on what a day in the life at boarding schools look like. And Marian at Tobiaco Academy is going to tell you about the community aspects of being a boarder.
Thank you, Helene. One of the most important things you can remember about boarding schools is the sense of community that we instill in our students. It truly, truly is something that we offer that other schools cannot offer. In fact, in many ways, a boarding school is going to look more like a small college or higher education institution for those boarders who are with us. And they're going to get that same experience and be more prepared for college or university life when they have experienced a boarding school. We have, as a group of schools, students from all over the United States. I would say, I bet every state is covered in our schools, and from throughout the world. So again, when it comes to an international flavor for a boarding school, you're going to see much more international and intercultural interaction with the students than you're going to see at a non-boarding school. Now, our schools have between 50 and 250 students living on campus in dormitories, again, very much like higher education. And our faculty and staff also often live on campus and in the dorm apartments. So they're there to interact with our students at almost any time. Now I'll turn it over. I believe, Helene, you're doing student life? All right.
So when you come live at a residential facility in a Catholic school, you have another, I guess, series of exciting things happen once the bell rings after your classes are over. I think the first thing that we can think of is obviously sports. Most Catholic schools that have a boarding facility offer pretty much all sports that you can think of. So you have the opportunity, you don't have to drive pretty much any places. Everything is usually offered on spot. I know I've heard often from some of our former residents that they would have never opened up to some sports that, I guess, brought them a whole lot of joy, and if they had not gone to boarding school, just because it was right there and they were enticed to join with some of their classmates. Similar to clubs, you can obviously get involved in all kinds of clubs after school hours. You also have opportunities for community engagement. Obviously, service is highly stressed in Catholic education, reaching out to others and going ahead of people's needs. And so we've had often students come up with their own ideas as far as how they wanted to reach out to other people in the community. It's a great way also to see who lives outside of the boarding school. Governments and leadership are also opportunities are numerous. You're able to have a part in deciding, what's going to happen in the boarding school, what activities should be planned, what's missing, what would make everybody's life better. Academic support is also usually provided on site. And so if you need any type of support, private classes, study hall, you have it right there on the spot. Another aspect that is worth mentioning is the development of your spirituality. When our young women or young men, graduate, they often talk about in college they appreciate it and they miss sometimes the presence of a chapel or a shrine or places where they can actually have this time to pray. And obviously you have this right there on the spot when you are at a Catholic boarding school. I guess, Tom, would you like to tell us about the exciting things that happen on the weekends?
Absolutely. So, obviously, making the decision to attend a boarding school, a significant part of that is definitely the academic aspect and the college readiness aspect. But another significant part of that, and as admissions directors, this is another thing that we are seeing within our students is they're also going for the overall experience. And part of that is predominantly fostered within the dorms, but also in what goes on the weekends. Where the students are obviously in the dorms Monday through Friday, but on the weekends, we like to always give them opportunities to get off campus. And so as Marian mentioned, most of the faculty and staff who do live on campus, there are also deans or prefects that are actually on campus, and they're the ones that are in charge during the weekends. And they're also providing opportunities for our students to get off campus. So, whether it be to go to a mall or out to dinner or to go see a movie. I actually drove all of our boarding students to a local Topgolf here in Omaha a few weeks ago. So we like to provide these opportunities to kind of give the students, a break from the everyday aspect of the dorms and get them out and seeing the overall city as a whole. Now, the schedule on weekends is typically very different than that of Monday through Thursday. With school and study halls and sports practices and games that may go on during the week, weekends are typically a little bit more laid back, a little bit more leisurely for the students to kind of regroup and, just overall relax. So, there are obviously times where the students are required to be at certain locations throughout the day to check in. Typically this happens at the 3 meals of breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But, in between those hours, the students are free to, if they're not off campus, they're free to, roam the campus, hang out in their dorms, hang out in each other's dorms, as well as, use, watch TV or use any other of their personal electronic devices. Now, another aspect of this that is worth mentioning is, students, 7-day students obviously always have the ability to live actually in the dorm on the weekends, but, they're always welcome to go home with some of their classmates that may live in the area as well. So, specifically this happens on extended vacations, maybe a Thanksgiving or a spring break, or maybe if there's a long weekend where there's no school on a Monday, 7-day students can sometimes go home with the local students and spend time in their home. As a student at Mount Michael, I used to have a student from South Korea that would come home with me all the time on the weekends. And it was just kind of something that we both looked forward to. So, weekends are definitely a very fun aspect of the boarding experience. And, if you have any questions on that, please feel free to include that in the Q&A session after this presentation. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Mark over at Chaminade.
Hello, everyone. I am Mark Baczynski. I'm the Director of Resident Admissions at Chaminade College Preparatory School. Chaminade is a boarding school for young men in grades 6 through 12, located in St. Louis, Missouri. We have been open for 111 years now, opening in 1910, and have been welcoming students to both our middle school and high school programs as both day and boarding students for our entire history. One thing at Chaminade we really try to live up to is our name. As a college preparatory school, we want to make sure that the challenges in the classroom are truly preparing you for the rigors of university life and beyond. And we do that, by starting with a pre-AP program in our curriculum in the middle school, continuing on into our honors, advanced placement, and 110 dual credit courses in the high school. An average student at Chaminade graduates after 4 years with 2 years of university already complete. But we know that also needs a lot of support. So our students not only get challenged in the classroom, but they get the support they need through our academic resource center, through our writing lab, our math labs, our house counselors, deans, mentors, and much more. We are specialists at teaching boys. As a boys' school, we have dedicated 100 years of our time learning how young men learn. learning that competition is great in the classroom, learning that sitting still and just listening to your teacher while taking notes might not be the best way to do it for some boys. So our teachers are dedicated to these diverse learning styles and helping our young men to be successful. But as the saying goes, all work with no play makes Jack a dull boy. We make sure to offer, 70 different athletic teams with across 19 varsity sports and over 40 different clubs and activities, from Model UN, speech and debate, chess team, barbecue club, fishing team, and much more. This not only keeps our young men active and engaged and making friends, but it also keeps them out of trouble. With a student-to-teacher ratio of 9-to-1 and an average class size of only 15 students, our students get that independent, individual support and education that they need. Again, located just outside the great city of St. Louis, we're only about 10 minutes from St. Louis International Airport, 10 minutes from the city. So if you have, weekend plans to do and something fun, shopping, movie theaters, we can get to the city, or we can get right outside the city and do hiking, swimming, camping, and more. So next, I would like to go ahead and turn it over to Marianapolis so they can tell you a little bit more about their school and what they have to offer.
Thank you, Mark. Greetings from Marianapolis Prep School in beautiful Thompson, Connecticut. My name is Monica Vitale, and I serve as the Associate Director for International Admission. Marianapolis is a co-educational boarding and day school located about 1 hour from Boston and 3 hours from New York, in a quiet, peaceful, and pastoral part of the state. Our 350 students hail from between 20 and 25 countries annually, with approximately 75% of our students from the USA. About 50% of our students take part in our Centers of Excellence program, which offers college-level courses, internships, and a capstone research program to students in 3 tracks: business and entrepreneurship, social justice, or innovation and engineering. Even if students do not choose to participate in this program, they have 22 advanced placement and 100 elective courses to choose from, allowing them to truly craft an educational experience that meets their personal goals. Outside of the classroom, we have over 40 athletic teams in traditional competitive sports like basketball and baseball, as well as non-competitive options like yoga and mixed martial arts. Our experiential learning program is robust, with weekly trips to different parts of New England to take part in things such as learning how to surf or ice climbing. In addition, all of our students enjoy our Leap Week trips that take place the second week in March. During this 1-week mini term, our students get to journey to different parts of the United States to hone an interest they already have or try something totally new. Past trips have included studying marine biology in the Florida Keys, attending NASA Space Camp in Alabama, riding horseback in Bryce Canyon National Park in Utah, and many other fun adventures. So whether our students look to join us for 1 year or 4, we want to make sure that you are pairing an amazing education with an unforgettable experience here at Marianapolis. I'm happy now to turn it over to my colleague Marcia at St. Bede Academy.
Thank you, Monica. I'm Marcia Wagner. I am the Dean of Residential Programs at St. Bede Academy. St. Bede Academy prepares high school students for a lifetime of education. Motivated by a challenging tri-level academic curriculum, our students develop critical thinking skills, communicate effectively, and form strong study habits. They learn life lessons in a nurturing, close-knit community of about 300 students from all over the world. And students can choose from 32 honors level or AP level courses, as well as earn college credits through dual credit programs before they graduate high school. With over 40 sports and clubs for students to choose from, whether you're into drama and the arts or sports and competition, or if you prefer video games and technology, there really is a place for everyone at St. Bede Academy. Situated on 700 acres in central Illinois, we are only 90 minutes from Chicago. So that offers us a safe rural living environment while also providing students the opportunity to experience everything that the bigger city has to offer, with supervised visits to museums, colleges, shopping, or other activities. Since 1890, St. Pete Academy has been fostering lives of leadership and service for all of its students. And so I invite you to discover what we have to offer and learn why our students have a competitive edge. So please contact me today to schedule an online meeting or request an admission packet or just inquire about our tri-level academics. I'm going to go back to Mark now so we can talk a little bit more about how we support our non-Catholic students.
Thank you very much. So we as a Catholic Boarding School Association have been talking a lot about what we do as Catholic schools, our Catholic identities and histories. But we've seen, as you can see in this chart here, that the numbers of non-Catholic families enrolling in Catholic schools has been rising for the last 20 plus years. And next, we're going to talk about some of the things that we do to make sure that our non-Catholic students and our non-Catholic families are just as involved as our Catholic families here. First thing I'd like to talk about is our service learning and volunteer work. You know, community service is a big part of the Catholic faith, and you will see at many of our schools that is built right into our curriculum, our daily lives, our weekend activities, and much more. You know, getting out into the community to help those that may be less fortunate, to help clean up parks, just to, you know, do things volunteer and service-wise really helps a student to grow. And this is a big part of what we do here at all of our schools. We want our students to grow in this way, not just with the academics. However, speaking of academics, you know, the pathways to universities, as you saw in our previous presenters talking about how boarding schools really help students to be successful at university and beyond, that can even be pinpointed more down to Catholic boarding schools and Catholic schools. You will see that the number of Catholic school graduates go on to top tier universities and finish their degrees in a very short amount of time. You will see that those students are well prepared, not just in the classroom, but outside of the classroom, because of our focus on service learning, volunteer work, the individual attention that they get from a loving family-like atmosphere just on our campuses 5 or 7 days a week. There's a lot of stuff that we do through service learning to help our students, and a lot of pathways to universities that are opened up by our schools that I think that you would really love to have your sons or daughters experience. I'd like to go ahead and talk some more about our religious curriculum and moral values.
Yeah, I'd be happy to talk a little bit about our religious curriculum here. The world that we know, that we live in today, has been shaped by millennia of religious traditions, beliefs, and texts. To be truly global citizens, it is important for our students not only to understand religion's historical impact on civilization, but also how it informs cultural practices today around the world. In Catholic education, students dive deep into sacred texts from both Christian and non-Christian world religions, which allows them to really understand global policies and people on a deeper level. In addition, taking part in religious retreats with their peers allows students to explore their own faith or learn how spirituality impacts others. Also with moral values, another benefit of Catholic education for all students is that we set really high standards, not only for academics, but also for moral values in our community. Ethical decision-making, respect for others, and the golden rule of treating others as we would wish to be treated comes standard in Catholic schools. The strong moral compass that has been instilled in your children at home will continue to be strengthened throughout the school day. And Marcia is going to speak a little bit about family spirit.
Family spirit, Catholic schools are very close-knit communities because most of us are on the smaller side with only a couple hundred students. It really is a family welcoming atmosphere for everybody that attends, whether you're religious or not religious. Everybody is welcomed. Teachers and administrators typically greet students by their first names, and we know and have that close connection with all of our students. So that really does make everybody feel welcome there. And because we do have a strong desire to get students involved and help them make new friends, to become more close-knit and part of their communities, it helps everybody to feel much more welcomed in the Catholic boarding school environment. We're also able to identify with a large portion of the world's population because we do celebrate our diversity. As a boarding school, we gather students from all over the world, so students are able to learn about different cultures and find out what everybody has in common, celebrate our differences, and really learn from each other to see what we can come together and really connect on an emotional and spiritual level. So we are able to help with diversity and let everybody come together as one. So now we're going to go over to Anne at Hillmount Academy.
All right, thank you. Hi, I'm Ann Fawcett, and I am the Director of Admission at Hillmount Academy. We are located in Atchison, Kansas, so I have to say go Kansas City Chiefs, because we're going to be in the Super Bowl back-to-back, so we're really excited. We're smaller. We have 200 students, grades 9 through 12 co-ed. About 40% of our students are boarding students from all across the United States and different countries. College prep curriculum with advanced placement classes, honors classes, and dual credit classes. For those who your first language is not English and need a little bit extra help, we do have an English as a second language program. We do offer quite a few different extracurricular activities, and we do require actually new students to participate in at least one activity during the first semester. And this way you get integrated into the campus and meeting new students and meeting not only your boarding students that you're living with, but also our local day students as well. And we'll be starting next year a new alumni mentorship program. We have a lot of alumni in many different areas and fields, and then all over across the entire world that really want to get involved and give back. And so we're going to start a mentorship program for starting junior year and then rolls into senior year to help with the college search process. And so so that's Hillmount Academy, and next up is Tyler.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tyler Hart, and I'm the Director of Admission here at Villanova Preparatory School. Been here now for 15 years, where I started as a math teacher. I'm a Villanova parent of one graduate and one current freshman. Villanova was founded in 1924. We are a Catholic day and boarding high school in the Augustinian tradition. We seek to educate mature young adults of diverse backgrounds. We are located in Ojai, California, a valley in the hills about 15 minutes from Ventura Beach and 90 minutes north of Los Angeles. Villanova is a Catholic school in the Augustinian tradition, just like Villanova University. About 50% of our student body is Catholic. We have Mass together as a school 1 or 2 times a month, and St. Augustine is well known in the world of philosophy. He professed 3 core values of love, truth, and unity. I encourage you to Google St. Augustine quotes for some real gems of wisdom. We are co-ed with 200 students in our school. 1/3 of our students are boarding students. We have students from throughout California and 15 countries internationally. Students are enveloped in care by mentors, resident staff, teachers, coaches, classmates, teammates, the list goes on. We are an IB World School and the only boarding school in California offering the IB diploma program. We are also the only high school in the country offering the Claire Booth Luce program, a female math and science initiative led by our female teachers for our female students who are interested in STEM. They connect with female professors, engineers, and scientists throughout California. Oftentimes I am asked, why do I work at Villanova? Well, our students work hard and they play hard. They are happy and they know that they are well supported. Every day with our students is an adventure and a blessing. They truly do bond together through wins and losses on the field, relying on each other in study groups, and opening up during overnight class retreats. Students know and come to appreciate that their teachers care for them. So next, Ann and I are going to be talking a little bit about the affordability aspect of boarding school. But before we get into that, Ann, do you want to cover the admission process?
Yes. So admission process for boarding schools, it is sometimes going to vary between the different schools. So it is always important to ask the school that you are applying to their specific requirements. But from just a practical standpoint and standard, this is what you're probably going to see. Most schools will have a deadline, or rolling admission is what we call it. So either there is a strict hardcore deadline that you need to pay attention to, or if you hear the term rolling admission, it does mean that usually as long as there's space in the dorms and in the classrooms, they are accepting students throughout the entire year. Most schools will have their own application, or they will use the standard application online known as the SAO. And usually it is an online application for basically any one of those. And then we're also going to require transcripts and grades, current year plus your prior 2 years, letters of recommendation, traditionally the principal or counselor, and then additionally 2 teachers. If you are coming from overseas and English is not your first language, usually an English proficiency test. There's different tests, and so you want to make sure that you ask the school which one they accept. And then the SSAT test, which is an entrance exam for high school or secondary schools, this can be required or optional. So it is important to ask the school that you're applying to. And then there always is a student and parent interview to make sure that it's the right fit for you and the right fit for the school too. Go ahead, Tyler.
All right, thanks, Ann. So boarding school, tuition is expensive, and it is worth it, and it is within reach. Students, we all have our part. You have a responsibility to make the most of your opportunities. Try your hardest in school and to give it your all, to join in the many fantastic opportunities that you've begun to hear about today. Tuition is not something that you, students, need to worry about. It is for your parents to handle. If you are striving to reach your potential, seeking help and assisting others, and you remember to say thank you now and then, consider your responsibility covered. Parents, I know you are thinking about the elephant in the room, and perhaps you are thinking one of the following. I can afford this and I see the great value. I think I can afford this, but not in one lump sum. If I can set up some sort of tuition plan, then I think we could swing this, and I see the value. Or this is out of reach. In no way, shape, or form could I afford this, but I see the value. The slide you see here encompasses all of the possible expenses. Every school is unique in their pricing and also in the extracurricular activities and programs that they offer. And some of those extras cost money. But if you schedule a 15-minute conversation with any of our schools, you will have a far more clear understanding of financially your expectation. Now, tuition assistance is available at all of our schools. But let's talk about language and vocabulary, specifically the difference between financial aid versus scholarships. Financial aid is need-based. If you cannot afford tuition, then you should apply for financial aid. Tax returns, other financial documents, an online form through either SSS, FAST, or FAX, and perhaps even a monthly budget are some of the many items that schools use to determine a family's need. And let's remember, financial aid is meant to make attending school possible, which is far different than comfortable. It takes investment and at times sacrifice. This is an invaluable opportunity for your child. It is a process, but also a healthy exercise. All of our schools offer need-based financial aid. Now, scholarships are earned by a student because they show promise in a particular area. Are you amazing at something? Did you earn a top score on the SSAT or another entrance exam? Are you an accomplished musician or a published author? Some, not all, of our schools offer scholarships, and it's up to you to research on each of our scholarships on each of our websites about potential scholarships. The most popular scholarships that people think of are related to sports. Think college scholarships. My schools in California were not allowed to offer sports scholarships, but other regions in the United States do. Again, make this part of your investigation as you are reviewing school websites and part of your conversation with a school representative.
So which brings us to your next steps, because right now you're on the webinar, so this is great, and you're obviously interested in boarding schools. So what do I do next? So if you like what you've heard from various schools, you want to connect specifically with those schools directly. All of us work with admission for the boarding side and are happy to continue conversations and answer your questions directly. We recommend follow schools on social media, whether that's Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, kind of see what the students are doing that we currently have here. What are they involved in? Pictures of the school are great. It's also great information for you. Ask to connect with a student, parent, or teacher. Especially if maybe you're from further away or another country, it's always nice to connect, especially, parent to parent, student to student, or even teacher, especially if you're interested in certain areas like STEM or performing arts. And then apply, start the application process. We recommend starting it as soon as possible so that you have ample time to ask for those letters of recommendation and request transcripts, or if you do need to take some sort of proficiency test or exam. And then prepare for your interview. Do your research. We want to know the real you. So make sure that you've looked at the school, you've got your questions ready for us, that you know your resume, you know your strengths and what you're going to share with each one of us. Because again, this is the best fit for you and then also the best fit for the school, because we want all of our students to be very happy. So with that, we'll end with questions for us. We do have some questions that were submitted prior. And so I want to give our panelists some opportunities to answer those questions. So first, I guess, back to kind of more academics and college prep. Jeremy, if you're able to answer this, besides academics, like my classes and my teachers, what ways does boarding school prepare me for college and university?
Good question. So there's several ways that going to a boarding school helps prepare you for college. One of the most obvious being the independence that you'll have at a boarding school, the personal accountability, I suppose, versus maybe living at home and going to school. Some everyday little things as simple as making your bed, making sure your room is clean, being responsible for your own laundry. Those sorts of things that maybe a lot of students who are living at home don't have to do on a daily basis. Also your time management, using your time wisely, making sure that you're taking care of all the things you need to, not only academically, but if you're playing sports, involved in clubs, all that sort of stuff. Obviously you will have dorm parents or prefects at the boarding school, but a lot of the time, especially your free time, is kind of up to you to decide what you're going to do with it. I also believe that boarding students learn good study skills and organizational skills, maybe that students who are living at home won't have. A lot of the times at boarding school, you're going to have a set schedule with specific time for studying. So making sure that your time management is being used properly, that you're getting your studying done during that time, and that if you need additional time, making sure you're getting all of that done outside of that. Another side of it is the socialization. Most students just spend, maybe 50 minutes or so with certain people every day just in class, whereas boarding students, they spend their entire day, their entire week or month with certain people. So learning how to get along with roommate, maybe getting along with people that you don't necessarily have things in common with. Problem solving, when you do have a conflict resolution, with roommates and other people that you're living with. I'm sure there's some other aspects. I don't know if anybody has anything that I missed there.
I think that's pretty good. We had another one for probably like the day in the life group, Helen, Marion, and Tom. So I'm not really an athlete, but I like leadership. So what kind of leadership opportunities are available at your guys' schools or boarding schools in general?
Can go ahead. I guess I could mention, if you're not an athlete, you have other endeavors that are available. The one that are thinking to mind can be debating, getting involved with drama or campus ministry. They'll teach you to practice self-awareness and self-confidence on stage or whether at the podium, and to be a resourceful person. You can be involved with student government as well. A lot of boarding schools have what they call boarder council, where you get voted on, and your responsibility is to kind of like represent your peers. And I would say more generally, the fact that you are part of this broader community, really, you have to be able to collaborate. You have to be able to communicate. You have to learn how to negotiate relationships, resolve conflicts, as was mentioned earlier, work in teams, and you really understand the value of who you are and what you can bring into the table. So that's what I can think of for now.
I don't know, Tom or Marion, did you have anything else to add, or?
Well, I think that was a great answer. And I would just emphasize that because we are 24/7 at a boarding school, the leadership opportunities are really much more broad for our students than on a typical campus, and really do mirror what is found in higher education, much more so than a high school.
And I'll add, going off that, with these opportunities for leadership and various other student activities being more broad and more readily available for our students, the more you get involved in, whether it be activity or student government, the better you will look to college admissions counselors. And that's just another line on a college resume that you can add in. And so, specifically at these boarding schools, students are often getting involved in, 4 or 5 or even 6 different activities, whether it be sports or choir or journalism or student government or student oblates. It really benefits you in the long run in terms of college readiness.
Nice. And then one last question, kind of more towards the group that talked about Catholic, and obviously we're all Catholic groups, but anything that's awesome that stands out about favorite ministry tradition or events at your school that bring together Catholic and non-Catholic students?
I'd like to say something about our retreats here at school. Our campus ministry has a great tradition of running, retreats off campus for our students at every age level. These retreats offer a quiet time sometimes a more rambunctious time, through Kairos retreats, wilderness retreats, even on-campus retreats for some of our younger middle school students. But we get those boys out of the classroom. So it's non-academic, but also non-athletic time that students can come together for self-reflection, for brotherhood, and for family. And our retreat system runs probably like many schools, for every grade level, every year, at least once a year. But that leads back to the previous question about leadership opportunities. Our students also have the ability to run retreats for younger students. And I think that those retreats are some of the most important and well-loved parts of campus ministry for both our Catholic and non-Catholic families.
I'm happy to jump in also and share a tradition that we have at Marianapolis, which is our quest nights. And they take place every couple of weeks in the evening, where our students, there'll be one student who will sign up to lead a quest night where he or she will share about an experience that may have been challenging or a moment of growth. And these are really small groups, so that it's an informal setting and it's a very safe setting for students to be able to share about something that they have gone through in front of their peers. And there's always pizza involved, so that we make it a nice social opportunity as well. But for many of these students, it's an important growth moment for them to be able to share what they experience, and it allows the students who were there to lend support and also to have the bravery and the courage to be able to speak about something that they may be going through as well. So a really nice moment of team bonding, of confidence building, and collaborating with other students.
Nice. Marcia, did you have anything to add, or is that?
Oh, I was just going to say, we have a tradition at St. Bede Academy where every year we have a Spirit Day event, and it's a get together of the entire school population, and the students are broken down by their grade. And then they compete against each other in different group activities or events. Sometimes they have a minute to win it type table where you're doing several other little events and things like that. A slip and slide where students are encouraged to bring rafts and things like that they can just go down the slip and slide on those. And it really is a way to bring the classes together as one and create new friendships and bonds at the beginning of the school year. So it's just one more way for students to connect with each other and become part of that Catholic family that we all talk about at our boarding schools.
Nice. Well, that looks like that's all of the questions that we had. Tyler, I'll let you end it. But yeah.
Thank you very much, Ann. And from my colleagues across the many CBSA member schools that joined us today, thank you very much for taking time to learn a little bit more about the opportunities within Catholic boarding schools. Please visit our website, cbsa.org, and we'll be sending out a follow-up email to all of the registrants with a recording of this webinar that you can share with family and friends, as well as the individual email addresses for each of my colleagues on this call. So you can reach out to the schools directly that you believe would be a best match for you. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Stay safe, everybody. And from CBSA to everyone out there, thank you and